Hey there guys, so tonight we're going to be working on a data structure and algorithm question from Free Code Camp. I'm going to try my best to give you my thought process. I made a big mistake. I originally recorded a video where it was just me going off raw and just doing it. Unfortunately, my big head was covering this section of the video, so you couldn't see any of my console.logs or any of my thought process. So I'm going to try to restart and just try to get you through what I was going through and the mistakes I made and the certain things I had to Google. So let's restart this lesson. Cool. Let's go. So when working on this problem, what I like to do is to sit down and just think about the problem in a way a human being would solve it. So what does that actually entail? So if I was going to solve this problem with a pen and paper, I would first grab each letter, and then I would start capitalizing them, right? That would be the first letter. I would start capitalizing the first letter. After that, I would start lower casing all spelled casing wrong, all the letters after that. Alright? And then after that, I would present my paper. So that's essentially what we have to do here. So the question is, how do we do this in a programmatic way? So if you're a beginner, what really helps out is if you at first console.log your answer as opposed to returning it, so you have a better idea of what's actually going on in your code. So when we console.log string, we get the string back. So the first thing I want to do, and I said letter, no, word. We need to grab each word. The first thing I want to do is I want to split everything off into a word as opposed to a whole string. I don't want to deal with the whole entire string. And the way I would do that is by using the .map method. What is the .map method? The .map method is a not .map. We will use .map later, but I want to use the .split method. The .split method is an array method, which the .split method is a string method that will split a string based on where you set it to split. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I wanted my string to split at every single letter. Well, I can do that with .split. So now, look, it's split at every single letter. Now, let's say I wanted to split at every single word. I add a space, and look, it's split on every single word. Now, let's say in a string, I wanted it to split on the letter A. Well, now it's split on the letter A. Every time there's an A, it will remove the A and then it will split and create an array. Every time there is a space, it will split and then create an array. That is cool. So now that I have it split, I want to use a .map. A .map is an array method, right? So now I've transformed my string into an array. I want to use a .map. And essentially, since I'm grabbing words, I want to grab each word. So the way .map works is it's an array method, and it will grab every element inside your array and return it and it will return each element as something new. So, for example, it's doing undefined. So if I were to grab word, let's say I return word. So look, it's returning word. Let's say I return a word and I wanted to add something like my name. Oops, I forgot to put my name in a string. Itamar. Oh, so now it will add Itamar at the end of every element. or so that is the power of .map. You can change every single element inside inside an array, and that's why we use it. So the next aspect of it is grabbing the starting letter of every single word and then capitalizing it. So how can we do this? What we can do is let's create a constant. We will call it const first letter, and we will have this equal to word. Now what we want to do is index the first element, which was always a 0, and then we want to convert that first element to a dot uppercase. Forgot to write in case, to a dot uppercase. So what this does, and this is important, let's just return the first letter. So look, it grabs each letter from the sentence and it returns a dot uppercase, even if, so look, it's returning the I, even if the letter is already in uppercase, it will still return an uppercase letter. So that's really cool. So then we want to grab the rest of the words. So let's do const rest const rest of the words. I'm using camel casing. You don't have to, but so now we want to grab the rest of the words. Now the thing that's really important about this aspect is, well, we can't really do indexing again. So I can't do indexing again because, well, for example, if I did indexing for A, it would probably throw an error, right? Because yeah, look, it throws undefined because it doesn't exist. So you're gonna have some words that don't even have a second letter. So I need to find a way to grab all of the words without knowing it and without actually tripping myself up. So the way I could actually solve this is by also splitting words. Well, not splitting words. So first, I want to remove the first word, and this is what I had to Google because I'm not great at string methods. So using substring, I can remove the first word. And is not a function. That is interesting. Did I spell it wrong? Yes, I spelled it wrong. You have to be very precise for programming. So now, do you see when I return the rest of the words, looks what it's doing. It's returning every word except for the first word. And now with that, I think actually we can just set it to lowercase right now. And now you can't really see the difference, but it should be setting every word to lowercase. So if I grab the first word, which is uppercase, and I grab this and I add it to the second word, the rest of the words, which is lowercase, I should get this. Right, that looks fine. Let's see if we can run it and see if it returns. So then we want to return that. Interesting. Let's run it. It failed on every part. So this is a silly mistake for myself. And no, I didn't do that on purpose. As you can see, and this is important, I'm returning an array, right? So the reason why I'm returning an array is because of this string.split, right? So when I map into it, map still returns an array, right? So because I'm returning an array, eventually I need to join it back so it's a string. So what I'm gonna do is add a dot join, and then I need to join it where I split it, which was the spaces. So now it creates a space. between each array element, and now we get the string back. So let's see if this worked. A very silly mistake from myself, but it's only, and then we run it, and it all worked. Wonderful. So it's very important, like especially if you're first starting, to understand that as a software engineer, I am going to make mistakes. I'm going to Google mistakes, and I'm going to spend a lot of time looking through my mistakes. And I'm also going to be looking at how I can make answers more optimum. So don't feel bad if you make a mistake and or you don't remember the right thing. What I would say is a lot of the time I spend a lot of time looking things up, researching things, and there are just areas where I'm not an expert in. I'm not an expert in strings, and that's why you saw me make that mistake with the strings and getting the wrong name. Um, but it's very important that you make these mistakes and you can learn later. Hopefully, the next time I need to remove the first string from and the first character from a string, I'll be able to do it no problem. So just keep trying your best, just keep working at it. If the explanation wasn't good, I'm very sorry. Please leave comments, please explain to me how I can improve, and yeah, just keep the spirits up and keep trying. Anyways, have a nice day.